Welcome back to Hamburg, everyone, and welcome to live coverage of ESL One Hamburg 2017. Our day one is halfway through. Group A already completed. No surprises in Group A as we head into Group B. And to start things off, what a game we've got. The reigning world champions, the TI7 Grand Champions, the team who haven't been beaten for seemingly months on end. Well, not seemingly, they just haven't been beaten in a tournament for months on end. And a team who have won more than $12 million across the 2017 season. And we've still got a couple of months left. That's right, Team Liquid are going head-to-head against SG Esports. Those crazy South Americans have brought their Samba-style Dota 2, and they brought it all the way to Hamburg, and we'll see how they get on in this next matchup. We've also made some substitutes. No Dota professional circuit points for us on this panel, I'm afraid, as Syndra and Nahaz are welcome back. Hi, gents. Quick wrap-up on Group A. No real surprise in there.
I think the way that the second game went was a little bit of a surprise.
The last 10 minutes.
Yeah, the fact that Secret were able to mount that kind of a comeback when it looked like EG at least had some pathways to win that game was surprising to me. But yeah, I think that's how I would have picked.
Yeah, Trolls, I saw you sit there watching, commentating, and you're just like, what?
I was starting to doubt myself. Like I was thinking back on what I said during the game, and then when I saw it unfold, I was like, "Am I wrong here?" And I still stand by what I said. I think EG just made some mistakes, and they had the right approach to the game. They had the right ideas, and they didn't execute as well as Secret, who just had those couple of key moments. And that's what it's like when these very fragile lineups, in a way, run into each other. One team is fragile early, one team is fragile mid-game. If you don't hit your timings, the other one's going to overtake. So.
Let's head into Group B, and we'll start things off with Team Liquid. Alan, it's been a phenomenal year in more ways than one, because sometimes I think when we look at the TI champion from each year, you almost isolate TI on its own and go, yep, they had a great TI. They might not have always had a great year, or they may not have won multiple championships, and then sometimes it's the other way around. I remember at TI5, it was Secret on a big roll. They came into TI, massive favourites. They'd won, I think, 7 or 8 of the last 9 or 10 tournaments, and then didn't win TI, and then suddenly they're not thought of as having a great... Do you know what I mean? It's sometimes we put a lot of weight on it, sometimes we put more weight on what they do outside, but they've got the whole package this year, Liquid.
It's the before and the after, right? They're on a 5-LAN winning streak dating back 6 months, including TI. And if you look back, the last 2 TIs before TI7, at the top 4 teams in each, so 8 teams, only 2 of the 8 teams won multiple LAN events in the following year after they finished top 4 at TI. Liquid already has that LAN under its belt, and they're the favorites here in a second.
Just goes to show, Syndra, don't play RPGs for 3 months after you win TI. I know it's an old meme, but I love that. I love the old memes.
Yeah, I mean, if you've ever talked to Mind Control, he's gonna be like, yeah, I won TI, it's great. He comes home, what's the first thing he does? He starts playing pubs, you know? Like that. He
wants to win next TI.
Gets in the door, and he's like, might as well play Dota, right? Mm. And then I think it was an interview with Matumba after TI where he was like, I reached my goal, it was so big for us, and then you come home and everything is like, you just need, everything around you just calms down a little bit. And it was like, in some way he said it was almost a bit depressing, because now I finally reached my goal, I really wanted to win and I made it. And then
now what?
And then he's playing pubs again, you know? Then he takes one day off, he's like resting and thinking about it a bit. Oh, that was a really big achievement. Oh, now I really feel like playing Dota again though, so back to the pubs.
And
these guys are very dedicated.
We're only just at the start of this, obviously. We've had 2 minors. This is the first major of the season. We've got more than 20 tournaments between now and TI to come. A lot of those majors and minors as well. And they seem super motivated to be that first team that goes back to TI and wins.
I feel like that should be the biggest motivator for any team that places high, is that you have the chance of doing something nobody has done before. Because now we're up to 7 TIs, there's been 7 different champions, right? So you still want to be the first team that does it twice. And apart from that, the tournament circuit this year as well, there's just so much... There's a lot of tournaments and a lot of titles to claim if you're riding the wave, right? So you want to be that team that just has that incredible streak. It's very historic what Liquid are doing right now.
We talked very quickly before we move on to SG, Alan. We talked earlier on with the other 2 boys about the patch can't come soon enough for a team like EG who just want to get out of this patch now. But for Liquid, maybe it's the other way around. Maybe they'd like it to carry on a little bit longer.
Oh, that's what we've been saying for the last couple of months anyway. Is that pretty much it looks like the only person in Dota that can stop Liquid is IceFrog, right? This has been a very good patch for them, but again, it's not like, I mean, they're almost doing their own thing, right?
I don't want to disparage them. They're not a patch team or any of those crazy things that have been said before. It's not like that.
But you look back to TI, right? They were 30-3 on 3 heroes. On I believe it was Necrophos, Keeper, and Earthshaker. The rest of the teams in the tournament combined were 32-45. Like they're playing these heroes at a level just above everybody else.
Yep. I love the fact that you brought up stats, because I'd like to bring one up as we move on to SG Esports, which is, and I do this kind of prep before we come to these tournaments, and you notice patterns. And most teams, they tend to play roughly the same amount of games heading into a tournament as the other teams in the tournament. After TI, it's a bit difficult because some play the patch, some don't play the patch. But there is a massive disparity here. Liquid have played 10 games in this actual latest F version of the patch, and they're 9-1, obviously, from the first tournament they played in. SG right now are 46-27. That's a 73-10 gap in games.
Yep.
If they don't know what they're drafting in this game, Alan, I was going to come up with I'll eat my hat or something, but they've got to know what they're doing by now, surely.
I think that it reminds me a lot of a couple of years ago after TI5, where Vega Squadron came into ESL One New York and
Great
just
time.
had played so many more games than anybody else, and really won the event,
Yep.
right? I mean, SG, they've played a lot of Dota, played a lot of quality Dota. The interesting thing is, apart from the Arc Warden that they'll pick up at the carry position, they're actually a pretty meta team.
Yeah. There's nothing crazy in here that you wouldn't expect to see, is there?
Yep.
I think 2 of SG's losses were against Liquid.
Yeah,
Pretty
that's
sure. They got 2-0'd last time,
Yeah.
so great. That's a great one to go in on, We have a good stat, 46-27. It's pretty good, pretty high win rate. Liquid kind of destroyed us 2 games. Let's forget about that and go win this.
Well, it's a miserable matchup for them.
It
Because
is.
if you looked at those 2 games, like in the 2 games, Kuro opened, I believe it was Earthshaker Chen and Nightstalker Chen. It was like, okay, you're going to run this greedy Arc Warden type pick. Yeah, no. Good luck with your lanes.
I think you banned Chen in this
I
patch right
agree.
now against Liquid, and the problem is Liquid is one of those teams where you go into the first phase and you're like, pick your poison. Doesn't matter if you're first or second pick.
Sure.
Liquid have 5 or 6 first phase picks that are all extremely good for them. So you're going to give them something. And then you need to think about going in as the captain of that team is that, okay, which style of Liquid is the worst for us to face?
Yep.
And I think for a team like SG, the Chen style is really dangerous. I think
Would
in
you
this-
would you let them
So
have the IO then?
No,
Or
I
is
think
that
those
you
would
ban
be,
the IO
those
and
would be
the
my
check?
2
Yeah.
bans,
Okay.
I think. You give
So
them
you're gonna give GH's Keeper.
Keeper or Shaker. I think that's more manageable, to be honest. I think it's more abusable, especially when you have a player like Teolikor who likes to play Bounty Hunter. It's a really good hero against the Keeper of the Light. They tried it against the Chen. I feel like it's a very weird matchup. In the past, you would love to have Bounty against Chen. You counter his jungling. That's not how Chen works anymore. That's not how that matchup plays out. Chen gets 1 or 2 creeps, and then he goes to a lane and he pressures and pushes towers. He doesn't farm level 7. That's not how you play. But Keeper is very one-dimensional as a hero. It's like, it has to stand in a lane for a long time. It has to farm. The way GH plays is super greedy. Counter him in the support pick and see if you can get something out of that. I think that's the approach.
Yeah, it is unbelievable. GH is actually GH is 403 GPM in 24 games pro on Keeper of the Light. There's nobody else that's averaged over 400 gold per minute on that hero in 3 pro games. Like,
He is the best
it's
player in the world on that
incredibly-
hero.
It is
That's
incredibly greedy,
honest.
though. That's what I'm saying, is that I agree with you that the roaming Bounty Hunter, any kind of really early roaming potential against his Keeper, I really like.
Is
I
he the
think
best 4 in the world?
I think he's one of them. I feel like it's always hard to just say there's one player who's the best. But
Right now. I don't mean ever, but
right
now. Yeah.
I don't know. At TI he was.
Yeah.
Right now I'm not sure.
It's
Okay.
hard to say after what Jabs did last weekend, man.
Yeah. He had a great tournament as well. SG. Almost an enigma at this point. I think it doesn't matter what lineup they have. They have got some experience in this team of players that have played at big tournaments before, but that's the one thing that they've gained in 2017, isn't it, Synderen? Is that they have gained this experience. They've started to learn how to play at these big events. They've won a few big games as well. All of that helps them build for the future.
It does. The thing about going into this matchup is when we look at their win rate and what teams they've played, it's about what styles do you play against. Obviously, the vast majority of their games are in the SA region.
Yep.
And when they're playing these international teams, it's just a different meta and a different playstyle. So some things that they might be used to having success with can be really bad or actually like maybe even detrimental to even try when usually they work. So they have to just take one match at a time. I think this is their hardest match of the tournaments, pretty much guaranteed. So you go into this game and you give it your all, you have an idea. If this one fails, it's not the end of their tournament run. Like, the next game is the one that I feel like they have the best chance in, probably.
Okay.
But, let's not think too far ahead. I don't think they should either.
All
One
right.
game at a time, do your best.
Let me give Alan a slightly different take and see whether you want to run with this and play with this or not. Is the best time to play Team Liquid in the first game of a tournament when they're cold, in a best of one? Is that not the best time to play them?
There's really...
Or is there no best
There's
time?
really no time that I want to be playing Liquid. I think that's a dangerous path to go down because...
It's better than playing them when they're hot in the quarterfinals in a best of 3, though.
Dota is... This is one of the things that I learned when I started going to LANs, is that Dota is much more about momentum than I previously thought. And you have to be careful talking about experience that you brought up in the last question to Cinderin, because this is not the same SG Esports team that showed up at the Kiev Major and shocked the world against Secret. ADR, their mid player, is the only returning player from that squad. Bardo, their captain in 5 position roles, pretty new to the pro scene. I think for them to pull the upset here, ADR has to play well. He's a very team fight oriented mid. Those games that Tavo, their offlaner, was going off last year on Enigma, very underrated aspect of those games is that ADR played a great puck to get in there with those silences and protect the black hole. I think he's the kind of player that can execute at the level necessary to beat Liquid, but they got to get through the draft first.
You also mentioned, Alan, that they're pretty meta. ADR is pretty meta as far as the picks are concerned right now. His favourites in this particular patch, Mirana, Ember, and then it gets slightly different, DK Invoker, which is not what we see outside of that region. That's one of those, that's a very regional. They're going to have to kind of move away from that, you feel?
I actually like the DK for them because he can function as a lane stabilizer. He's a hero that's not going to win the lane, but he's not going to lose the lane. He's not going to be as vulnerable to Liquid's roam as some of the other mids. That's the big thing I think you got to watch out for in Liquid. They're able to threaten such a wide area of the map with these 2 and 3 hero kill combos. Like, they were drafting Earthshaker and Necrophos against Mirana at TI, and just Mirana, I mean, maybe would get ahead on Mirana and they'd just blow her up with 2 heroes. That's the kind of kill that's very costly. We saw that in the last match. So I really feel like SG has to get through the draft.
Okay. In terms of Liquid, how do they approach this? What do they say internally in the team? Obviously, potential banana skin, they don't want to trip up on it. They know that SG can be a bit funky sometimes. They can run at you pretty much for the first 20 minutes and destroy you in the lanes. Are they worried? Are they concerned about anything?
I think they look at the last series they played against each other, and they look at what worked. They had their Chen both games, I believe. Worked both games. Why wouldn't it work again if they can get it? If it's banned, the thing is, to me, Liquid has more or less figured out this patch before anyone else, and we haven't had
Do
that
we call
much...
it the Liquid patch then from now on?
I don't want to call them a one-patch team because I don't think they are,
No.
but I think the way that they play as a team and the way the patch work in connection with each other is perfect, because this patch, it rewards a player like GH extremely well because the position 4 gets to shine, and it's a patch that really benefits a team that has good one-on-one players in their lane matchups. So they get Matumba Man, these like aggressive heroes that can take advantage of his lane. You get a hero for a player like Miracle that can scale and shine. And the really beautiful thing about Team Liquid is that all of their players can carry. So they just get the best matchups that they can every game, and it's not like their mid player has to shine. Like Miracle can have a bad game and Liquid will still destroy if the other 2 cores do well. Okay. Whereas other teams that have like one superstar that has to do well, if that guy gets shut down, they generally lose. So that kind of team's just really strong right now.
Okay, good timing. We're about to head into the draft for game number 3 of the first day here at ESL One Hamburg. And I guess, Alan, with this, we're going to see whether Cinderin's ban predictions are right as well.
Okay, so I would presume... Gosh, I'd presume that Liquid is on the left here?
Liquid banned Wisp?
No, okay,
No.
maybe not. No,
SG are on the left.
SG on the left.
Liquid banned Shaker.
I am all right. I am a little bit surprised that SG would use one of the 2 opening bans of the Veno. That is not necessarily a hero that I prioritize taking away from Liquid, although Matumba and Mind Control play that very well.
Yeah.
I think when your first pick is SG, there's 2 approaches to this game that I like. One is you take out the Chen and try to play against something else. The other one is if you leave Chen in, you take out the flex pick that you would put with that Chen in the first phase. I think Chen Venomancer is a really strong opening because Veno can go to all 3 lanes, and it complements Chen well because they have the same objective in the game, which is to group up as 5 and push towers. So choosing to take out the Veno is basically them inviting Liquid to take Chen, but since SG are first pick, they can counterpick the Chen in the first phase with a hero of their choice. So I'm imagining opening picks for SG that are interesting here are... There we go. Very classic. Nyx is a strong hero.
Yeah, Nyx.
Great against Caudle, so might be reason for Liquid to not go that route. Nyx is not the best hero against Chen, I would say. Like the 5-man style, Nyx is great at skirmishing, at scouting, doesn't want like these structured 5-on-5s too early. But we'll see. I don't think we're gonna see a Coddle this game. I feel like Liquid don't want to do it already. And that was something we didn't, in my opinion, we didn't see very much of at TI. I feel like teams didn't counterpick GH's Coddle very well. Like they gave it away, and then it was like they were very focused on countering other heroes than the Coddle, and then Coddle was like the hidden carry in every game. There's the Chen, Rubik.
Well, I think that there were a number of classically considered counters to Coddle, like the Night Stalker, that teams thought were going to counter GH's Coddle, and they really didn't, because Liquid was ready to play against.
There it is.
But this is what I was going to mention this because you brought up the Chen and Flex pick. Liquid, especially in Starladder, really went to mostly dual support opens, and I actually really like this moving toward what I started calling the Mineski model of you pick up your 2 supports, you define that aspect of your game, and then you're just going to pick up your 3 cores that you feel like lane really well.
I think the reason this kind of opening is strong is that they have the strong Ench/Chen hero, because if you are a second pick in Liquid's spot right here, like let's say SG first pick Nyx, and you go Rubik AA, just to make a simple example. You say these are our supports. The enemy team can pick Chen or Enchantress, and you have 2 supports that are weak against this jungling early game pressure hero. You can get punished super hard. But when you are the one picking Chen, you're already taking that out of the equation. So then picking your secondary support in the second pick position is a lot better. We're going to see the Mirana from SG. This is like a pseudo counter to Chen. Like you can one-shot arrow the creeps. You're a hard hero to gank in the lane. You're pretty good at team fighting overall with Starstorm. And there's a natural synergy between Nyx and Mirana. It's stun into arrow combo, so it's pretty solid.
Yeah.
But nothing special. And I worry right now with this opening that SG from the first pick perspective haven't really counterpicked in the first phase.
Definitely comforts from both of those first 2 picks. Something that Teolicor plays a lot, and actually ADR's most played in this batch is Mirana.
So. Yeah,
very
good Mirana.
Yeah.
Absolutely a good pick for the players. That's not what no complaints on that.
I have a different perspective on this, and I don't disagree with what either of you just said, but to me, when you're this kind of an underdog, I think you want to get through the draft relatively even. I think you can get yourself into really big trouble as an underdog team without much LAN experience with this roster, trying to counterpick too heavily too early in the draft. I think you pick stable heroes. This is a combo that they've played a lot of. Thialco on their 4-position player on the Nyx, ADR in the mid on the Mirana. It's a very stable open for them.
Absolutely. They're sticking to their guns. It's just, for me, I'm not sure how strong this first 2 is against the enemy first 2. Like, it's one thing to break even. I don't know in this match if this is breaking even. And generally, the way the draft goes, the first pick team is considered most of the time to be ahead in the draft, all the way until and including the 4th pick. And then the second pick team can flip everything on the 10th pick of the draft. So if you're breaking even all the way into the last pick, you're going to lose the draft. You need to be ahead. Like, you can't be happy with a draw 8 picks in.
I guess what I hear from a lot of team captains in the draft is if your first pick, you're trying to force the other team to react immediately.
Yes, and right now, I don't feel like Liquid are under particular pressure right now. So Liquid will show their next hero, and then SG will pick. And I want to see SG start counterpicking so that they can get ahead in the draft, and Liquid have to solve a problem with their last pick instead of being free to take whatever they feel like for Miracle.
I think we're just coming at the problem from opposite angles, because I don't want to see another Fnatic game where the draft is just so lopsided.
But that was a second pick AM.
But
well, fair enough.
Fnatic were first pick and counterpicked themselves.
I was going to say,
that's the difference.
Counterpicked. All right.
We're going to pick the counter to what you've just blocked. And then give you 3 more picks.
Interesting Husker ban here for SG. I definitely agree with the Nature's Prophet ban. I think that should be a second phase ban against Liquid a lot of the time after what we saw at TI, especially with the dual support open here.
Oh, I like this.
Yeah, that's actually so cool.
This hero is very good with Chen. I like Beastmaster with both Enchantress and Chen. The logic in picking these heroes together is Beastmaster gets the aura, and when the play you make is that the Chen rotates either alone or with the Rubik to the Beastmaster's offlane. And if you execute 1 kill there, you suddenly have a Beastmaster with summons, Chen with creeps, and an attack speed aura, and you actually take the tower in 1 fell swoop. And that kind of aggressive play is extremely strong. In addition, Beastmaster has some weaknesses in laning, but Chen is like one of the strongest supports in the first 5 minutes, so you can offset that weakness of the hero. And they both want a 5-man. Again, it's like the Liquid draft is coming together very nicely. Wyvern is a solid solution.
You asked for some counter pick,
Yeah.
and the Wyvern is the counter pick to the Beastmaster aura, right?
It's good. Winter's Curse against a lot of summons can kill heroes. They have the Splinter Blast against the summons as well to kill them off if they want to do that. Cold Embrace is a pretty nice save against Beastmaster. Good choice. Alternatives could have been a saving support with a different type of save than the Cold Embrace. You could have got like Shadow Demon against the Roar. You could have got Oracle against the Roar. The problem is both of those heroes are really bad against Chen.
Yeah.
So
and I feel like
Chen
both of those heroes are just too defensive, right? I feel like as SG, that's the other trap that I see underdog teams fall into, is that their drafts get a little bit too defensive, and they just get sort of the better team dictates tempo from start to finish.
That is true. I like the Wyvern pick. I like it a lot more than the Mirana pick in the respective slot. I feel like they could have got more out of that first phase than they did. Nyx to me is a great first pick. No complaints about that. And now we'll see what Liquid choose to go for here.
So do we have to worry about any cheese from Liquid still? The Husker is out. Brood is still in the pool.
They don't want to pick Brood.
Yeah, I
slot
agree.
15.
It's kind of a bad.
You don't pick Brood 15.
Actually, we are seeing more and more. There.
Wow.
No, we're seeing more and more of this. I was just looking at the data, and actually over the last couple of months, it's relatively even. Tail end of the second phase versus fifth phase. Brood used to be almost exclusively a last pick.
No, what I like is if SG could pick Brood now. That is the best slot for Brood in the draft, is pick number 16, or slot number 16.
And we've
Pick
seen a
number
lot of
pick number
16s.
8. But this is a 15 Brood, which is a bit unusual because now there's 2 core counter picks available. If you pick it on 16, there's 1 core counter pick available, and it's a huge difference. It's still, you know, we need to consider from Liquid's perspective, they're super confident. They play this kind of lineup all the time. It's extreme pressure. Chen pressures, Beast pressures, Brood pressures mid. So they're probably just aiming to, like you said, dictate the tempo of the game. Force SG to run at them all the time to defend.
Which is not a bad plan when you think that actually if you
all.
watch recent SG games, they do run at you in the early game.
Yeah. And so this is the funny thing. I never thought that I would say these words, but I actually kind of like Broodmother now as a pick, because Brood just eats supports. She gets that Deso up early, and she absolutely just chews up your supports and spits them out. And given the importance right now that I think supports hold in the meta, those are high leverage positions. Support kills in the mid game, they matter now in a way that they did not matter even a year ago.
I'm thinking of solutions here. So the way I think about Brood is the hero is best in mid. It's just flat out its best lane. It benefits so much from the fast level so that it can farm jungle. So you either counterpick Brood in lane, so you have a hero that can stand there, or you do that. You don't either do that. You do that. You pick a hero that can stand in that lane. And Mirana is not that hero. So they have to move Mirana to either safe lane or off lane, and then they pick a mid hero. I think this could have been a really amazing Timbersaw game, personally. It's great against Beastmaster. It's great against Chen. It's great against Brood. Very easy to get armor up. Nothing will kill a Timber this game. They're going to go for the Ember instead. Also a solid laning choice.
I mean, if Timber, though, has some counters left in the pool, like Pugna, but I don't know if that fits.
There's Ember also has counters left in the pool.
Yeah, it's true. Anything is going to be counterable.
That's just this is the position you're in, right? So now Liquid are in the driver's seat in the end of the draft because they have the 10th pick of the draft.
Yeah.
Do you feel like SG won the first 2 phases? Is the question here. Like, I think they broke even. Like you said, I don't know if that's good enough.
No, I like I said, I agree with you what you're saying, that from their position, you've got to be ahead going into that last pick, because that last overall pick can be incredibly powerful. But if you had told me ahead of this draft that we were going to think the drafts were relatively even through the first 4 on each side, I actually would have been fairly happy.
Mm-hmm. I think if they could have accomplished this while being second pick, they should be very happy.
Fair enough.
It's still a good Ember game. Like, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, it is.
I'm not gonna say this is a bad pick. I think it's very good. It's a hero that stands well against Brood, can farm the Spiderlings. There's very few ways of dealing with Ember for the Dire lineup. They have Roar and they have the Lift, but both of them have the Lift is instant, but the Roar is cast time. You can, if you're a mechanically skilled player, you can slide a fist, jump out. You can just fly out, jump out. You can slide chains. There's options, and it allows them to play aggressively. They can make moves.
I'm gonna nerd for like 5 seconds here. One of the things you'll see on our overlays as the game goes on is you're going to see Spiderling gold fed. And that was actually a really big deal. It was a nerf to Brood a while back that they increased the Spiderling bounties. Matumman on his Brood is very, very good at not feeding Spiderlings. So we're going to see if that holds up against the Ember. And the Bat Rider, I like this draft from SG. This is, all 5 of these heroes are things that they are comfortable playing. Now, I think there's high countering potential right here for Liquid. What do you think about this last pick?
I mean, this is a Laposa Bat, which is by far
Yes.
and away his
It's
most
his best
played hero. So,
Yes.
I mean, there are 3 very solid comfort picks here.
There's a lot of potential for Lifestealer in this game. Good Batrider matchup in lane. It's good against Nyx.
Yeah.
It's a hero that Ember can't really control. There's Winter's Curse. It's like the only thing that I really dislike about Lifestealer in this game. But I also think just overall Liquid's playstyle and what they want to do, Lifestealer is pretty cool for these kind of moves. He can infest Hawks. They can make moves. He can infest the Broodmother and just come together and kill heroes off. And it's a Liquid hero that they like to play. I'm just looking at heroes that are good against multiple of the...
Oh!
This is...
The least picked hero in this patch. In 6.0, in 7.06 overall, Spectre is 5 and 14 total.
You could have
across
asked,
all pro games.
You could have asked me to give you 25 suggestions for Liquid,
And I
would
wouldn't have
not
taken
mentioned
Spectre.
Spectre.
No.
So this is a complete curveball.
Nowhere near any.
Is this a miracle Spectre?
Yeah, yeah,
I think it is.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
It has
absolutely
really.
is.
Oh man,
And he-
Batrider
and he
is
has
an
been playing
awful
some-
lane matchup.
Yeah,
he has
yeah,
been
yeah.
playing some odd heroes, it has to be said, in pubs recently. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh right, Miracle wants a new hero every game.
Yeah.
That's right. Kuro said that in an
Yeah.
interview. So it's like,
he's
what do
actually
we have
been-
left?
he's been playing Earth Spirit in FPL.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Miracle plays a good Earth Spirit.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, he
he's been
does.
playing that before as well.
Yeah.
But okay, Spectre.
Fun draft, and we've got a Brood. Wasn't quite where we thought we might get it, but it is in there nevertheless. So, does that sway our panel even further in advance? Is this now a 100% Liquid game, or do you give any hope to our boys from Brazil?
I think the Spectre pick was not good, personally. I don't
Okay.
think they took advantage of having the last pick in this game, but I think Liquid are so confident that they just want to run something different and make it work. They probably feel so good after the first 4 that they felt like they could pick anything. I don't know.
I actually think
I'm
the
ready to-
Spectre
I'm
is
ready to
random
be
the last.
surprised.
I
I'm
think
ready to
the
be
Spectre is
surprised.
decent, just suboptimal, right?
Okay.
I actually think I have this game like 65-35 Liquid, but that's actually a lot. My prior odds would have been a lot worse for SG.
Okay.
So I'm actually pretty happy. I think
Alright.
this game's good.
Do you like the fact that they've gone for comfort here?
Yes,
Yeah.
1,000 times yes.
Okay.
I like the fact that SG can fight, and I
Yeah.
think that's their way to win this game, is that they need to look for kills and just bring it to Liquid. Don't let Liquid farm. They have a very weak laner in Spectre, so
Watch ADR in those team
Put
fights.
pressure on.
I think that's going to
Alright.
be the game.
Good stuff. Thank you very much, gents. Right then, it is time for our next game, and it is time to hand you over to our commentary team for game number 3. Can the Brazilians pull off a surprise win against the world champions? Let's find out.
Thank you very much, Paul, and indeed a very, very good good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Odie Pixel. I'm going to be joined by the fantastic Ben Malini-Wu for this Best of One extravaganza between Liquid and SG. Ben, we've just seen the draft. We've just seen Miracle. We know what's going on in the draft. He's telling Kuro, he said, I want to play Spectre. The question is, has Miracle gone too far?
I don't think so. If you're going to do it versus the team, SG is the right team to do it against, but it's still a Spectre. I think anyone, if you ask anyone's opinion about Spectre, it's going to be generally fairly negative. You might be excited to see their hero, but you still think the hero is terrible.
Absolutely. It's, as we heard the stats, it's not great at the moment. A very less often picked than the majority of other cores in this patch. But Miracle, he wants to do it. The rest of the draft, of course, that Liquid have these other 4 heroes look incredibly scary. A lot of heroes that a lot of teams at previous lands, such as Kiev, did not want to let Liquid have, or normally regretted when they did. We saw, I believe, in Kiev, Kuro getting his hands on Chen pretty much every game and winning them with quite some fashion. This man, incredibly confident on the hero.
Yeah, now they have 2 supports that you actually need to worry about a lot in the draft. So why Spectre here? Let's kind of go through what Spectre is good and bad at. She has a super, super long cooldown haunt. It was nerfed in the most recent change to Spectre, which is very detrimental in this sort of patch. You need an ultimate that can fight really, like just, you know, every 2 minutes I would say is not ideal, but playable. Longer than 2 minutes is just, you're stretching.
I mean, absolutely. We see, I mean, in terms of heroes that do have those big cooldowns on the ultimates, sometimes in the Chinese scene, they come through.
They don't even pick Warlock and Enigma anymore, though.
Yeah, exactly. Heroes like that, even there, have fallen off. And as you say, trying to make something work in this capacity. But maybe that goes to say something. You know, the Spectre, what kind of build are we going to see Miracle do? You know, what is he going to be sort of the Radiance Rush? Is he going to go for the sort of phase drums and sort of earlier actions stat build? I mean, what's the plan here from Liquid? You know, with the rest of their lineup, Kuro on the Chen, you know they're going to have this very strong presence in the laning stage. The panel sort of talks about whether SG are going to be able to deal with that. with these sort of defensive supports, having the Winter Wyvern. The panel didn't seem too impressed in the capabilities of this hero against Chen's rotations. Would you sort of agree this is
not good in
hard?
rotation, but it's great in the team fight and great in anti-push. So you can't have it all. A hero can't do everything, so you have to kind of look at your biggest weaknesses of the team. Their team is pretty terrible at anti-push without the Winter Wyvern, and not particularly great at team fight without the Winter Wyvern. Like, they have bad ultimate, but it's still tough to get all that nuke damage in. So I think Winter Wyvern was a really, really good pick for them here. I actually think I would have preferred LC maybe as opposed to a Bat Rider. I think LC also has a lot of wave clear. He's very good versus the Beastmaster Roar, so he's kind of an all-in-one. But the Bat Rider is much more offensive and has a much better chance of catching out the Brood.
Absolutely, that catch is going to be absolutely essential. They've got good setup as well for these rotations. Obviously with the Nyx Assassin setting up for the Mirana. Good setup for some really nice mid-game global action. And we should be able to get the game underway. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for bearing with us. We did have a brief pause, but the game is underway. We should be able to cut straight into the action now as Liquid versus SG Esports gets itself underway. We'll see what the lanes are going to be as well. At the moment, Miracle looking to take himself up towards the top lane. So is this simply Liquid trying to dodge some sort of lane matchup that could be pretty bad for them to find themselves in?
Well, I think the Spectre versus Bat matchup is fine. It's not great for Spectre, but it's not awful. But I think you just want to be closer to where the Chen is going to be active so you have that threat. So Spectre can actually farm. Spectre's early game is one of the weakest in the game.
30 seconds to battle.
But she will be, versus the Mirana? There's not... The lanes from SG are like not super strong. You're not going to get dominated in a lane. It's not like you're going to be versus Viper or anything like that. So Spectre should be able to have an okay early game, especially with the early poor man shield.
And looking to get this matchup down bottom, obviously with these movements, you know, Matumba to be there against the poster. So
yeah, it looks like the Brood. They want the Brood bottom. Brood versus Ember is actually not that bad for both sides.
But is Brood versus Bat really good?
It's not great. I would say you ideally want the Brood matchup versus Mirana. Mirana will just get dumpstered by the Broodlings. There's really nothing she can do that early. You don't have enough mana for Starstorm, and Starstorm doesn't even do enough damage, even if you had the mana.
And this is some very interesting stuff, of course, because Liquid, they will be putting Mind Control on the mid lane this game on the Beastmaster. And already Kuro just fending off Theolacor from his half of the jungle to get the ward down.
Beastmaster's right click is very strong at level 1.
It is, isn't it, Bob?
Yeah.
So 66 in order we have with the extra Fairy Fire, 68 right click. But how does he do it? Surely in a lane against the Ember Spirit, there's going to be a bit
for Beast.
Boy, he's just too beefy really to worry about.
His attack animation is really good. His attack speed's pretty decent for a strength hero.
Top lane.
Yeah, so
2 missed stuns there from SG. A nice little juke, to be fair, from Miracle to dodge out the Impale from the Nyx Assassin, but could have got a little hairy for him up there. Does have the salve ready, so should be fine for now.
Yeah, he's already burned through a fair amount of range. At least he got pulled a little bit. Once he gets the poor man shield again, he should be okay, but this is where Chen has to direct his efforts. However, they do have observer wards up there, so they will easily see this coming.
GH going in for some harassment here onto Costa Beale. They've got the Hellbear Smasher.
Why didn't he...
Getting thrown out of the dagger there. The dagger actually looks like Miracle casted it on the ground. Doesn't matter either way, because with the free pathing, he just crosses the tree line, takes the first blood.
Wow, that was a super greedy play from Rana. He sees the Hellbear running at him, and then he arrows the other
another creep. Yeah.
Oh, wow. And on top of that, like, not only is that a greedy play, you're also revealing the fact that you don't have leap. So yeah. About that.
Next level players, man. All top. Hey, here we go. It's all about the long comp. They managed to turn around, look for Miracle. Miracle is tanking up, though, looking to try and fog them. And in fact, he's going to make it. Theolacor can't chase that down on his own. And Bardino and Costa Beale have already been fended off by GH and Kuroki. Theolacor himself in trouble. The Hellbear Smasher ready to give him the clap. But the Nyx Assassin just a little bit too quick. Will get himself back to safety.
The thing about it is if you trade 1-for-1, let's say Miracle did die there, you're still completely fine with that. Miracle getting first blood as Spectre, that's just not something that you really bank on in the early game. And if it does happen, you're happy about that. And he was low on HP mana anyways. Whatever, just come back and harass him even more. And this Mirana is going to have an awful start as a result of the Chen.
Mind Control. I mean, Theolacor came across trying to steal that rune upon him, but Mind Control did manage to grab it. And we'll look to trade a few hits into Theolacor, send him back off. Mid lane matchup as it's going so far, very even trade between the two. Adriano 14 for 2. And Mind Control just slightly ahead, 14 for 5.
Ooh, 2 points in the X. You don't see that very often. And I think Mind Control does switch it up, but in the off lane / safe lane, it's usually like a 0-3-3 build.
Oh, up top again. Missed stuns here from Theo. Needs to make those connections if they want to have a chance at going for anything. They need that setup for the Sacred Arrow to come through from Costa Beale. Otherwise, it is going to be Liquid getting away safely every time from that top lane. CS, though, for Miracle, of course, is certainly slowed down. SG managing to keep good control in that regards and make sure that their Mirana is ahead of the Spectre's farm for now.
Maybe CS-wise. Not gold-wise, though, sadly.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, first blood.
SG do have that great observer ward. They're watching the 2 supports right now, but they are smoked. Looks like they're trying to kill the Ember before he is level 6.
Will be the dream kill here for Liquid.
Oh, he's so far up.
He is incredibly deep, Adriana. Not aware at all of this going on. Is there going to be any chance of him getting out? And indeed, as you say, still without the level 6 quite there. He's going to be surrounded. The other core coming in, maybe seeing if he could throw in a stun to help, but it's too late. Liquid get the kill, the rotation. Absolutely coming in at a perfect time there. And Ember is down. Kuro. Again, fighting with Theo. He was looking for the rune up top, but ends up spawning bottom. JH able to get his hands up on it. Top lane, this does mean Miracle is left on his own. Arrow will connect here from Costa Beale, and him and Bardina bring him down low, but Miracle always got a stick. And it is just enough to keep him alive. Again, Miracle just playing around with him there on that top lane.
I mean, look how many resources they're throwing at the Spectre, too, and he's still not dying. And that's really bad because Brood just does whatever Brood wants on bottom lane.
I mean, that's exactly how that lane's looking to be going as well, yeah. 35 CS at the moment on Matumba Man. Sailing ahead, the bat being no issue whatsoever as it seems. Of course, there's good farm as well on the bat, but it's not quite on par.
His tower's already down.
I mean, yeah, he's got the CS, but he hasn't managed to protect the lane.
You can try the creep skip war. Like you'll sometimes see that in one-on-one matches where both matchups creep skip. Very common versus Darkseer, but you can't really do that versus a Brood because Brood has extra summons that can tank the tower, and he doesn't even have a Bassi, I believe. Yeah, he doesn't have a Basilius on the Brood, but still able to take on that tower very early on. Yep.
This is going to be a very fast Desolator for Matumba Man, no doubts about that. He's already got the money for the first Mithril Hammer. Pretty much done.
You really don't want him to be able to take this tower down early because like the way Brood gets super far ahead is by farming the Ancients in the early game.
Well, you can get both now, can't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to try coming across looking for him. They do have the dust.
Oh, so many spider
Yeah,
links.
Theo just can't get close enough for the stun. He'll stun up the little babies, but he won't get the big one. The action itself is actually going to be up on the top lane where Liquid, they will get the successful gank. They move in, close down onto the Bardino Wyvern, take the kill, and Matumba, he's fine. They just can't catch him at this stage of the game. Not with having the lasso yet available on the Batrider, and without being able to close the gap on the Nyx Assassin for an initial stun. There's just no chance at catching this Brood.
Some people think that Brood should not be able to get away with a bootsless build. I think there's pretty much only 2 heroes in the game that can go bootsless. This is Brood Mother and
Weaver?
Weaver, yeah. Weaver's the other one. Weaver, I mean, even then you like consider getting treads on the hero. I guess Brood Mother sometimes you'll see phase boots, but like he just dodged the gank while slowed by dust. Right.
Oh, Ben. New patch soon.
Yeah.
Let's go, boys.
Are you a Brood spammer?
No.
Do you hate Brood?
My team does when I random it. Mid lane, mind control. Able to get some good pressure onto this tier 1, and there's not really anyone wants to come to this mid lane now. Mind control's pretty scary. Halfway through level 7. He's getting all the farm that he needs. Bottom lane, Adriano's actually hanging out down here. It's a bit of a spooky place for him to be, but with the remnants, one of the only heroes really on the team that can come down here and find something without having the worry of Matumba Man just destroying them straight away. Matumba Man, 7 minutes in, and he is less than 1,000 gold away from having a Desolator. This is going to be probably one of the fastest desos we've seen on the Broods. I don't think there's any doubt about that at this rate. Yep. And there looks to be very little intention from SG to try and stop him at this stage. They sent a couple of heroes down there. It was not a success. And looks like they're opting at not trying it again anytime soon. Top lane, again, trying to keep Miracle back from the farm. But as you say, sure, he might not be getting as the numbers in terms of CS, but with the first blood god, the fact that he's not actually dying in this lane, Liquid, they're having fun all over the map, all 3 lanes.
So AM was banned in the last. Oh no, Nyx. AM was banned in the last phase, so maybe they're looking for AM substitutes that don't get counter. I think the heroes that counter AM don't really counter Spectre. For example, like Bloodseeker. Bloodseeker, I think, actually does pretty terribly versus Spectre, because Spectre is just very tanky, and you can't really man up versus him. Also, the timing of when Spectre gets really strong is a little bit later than anti-mages, so you're not really worried about the game going 50 minutes plus if you have a Spectre on your team, whereas if you have an anti-mage, the longer the game goes past 50, the more likely you are about to lose because you have too much farm. So Spectre just has a different peak and very likely to be buffed next patch, so maybe just some premature exploration.
Let's see if they can get away with this. They're going down it with the smoke. SG sending 4 members down. They really want to try and catch Matuma Man. Adriano on the front lines. We'll see if Matuma reveals himself. Laposa now closing the gap. Does dust preemptively, but it's going to be out of range of the spider. And with that already popped, unlikely that they catch him. He's just going to walk past them. The smoke's dispelled. SG find nothing. And Matuma Man, he'll just go back to farming their side of the map. He sees them all pass. He knows that area is now safe, as they've just all walked past him. Mid lane, Mind Control and Kuro having their eyes on Adriano. Mind Control, he does have, the Primal Roar there. Adriano trying to duke it out there with the Remnant back down into the river, but Matuma Man's there as well. Mind Control able to close the gap. They do have Moonlight Shadow. Is there any detection on Liquid? Oh, they want a TI, but they don't have detection. They don't have it, so SG will get Adriano out there. Really nice Moonlight, saving him from imminent death.
Before that, though, the spacing from Matuma Man to like dispel the smoke and still get away safely was very well played. That's kind of exactly what you want from your position 1, is a player that is able to dodge ganks like that. That's probably one of the most important things that you can do as a carry in the first 15 minutes of the game.
It costs a bit. He's out of that. No need to mess around with the Miracle.
But right now, SG just don't have that many options. Like, Spectre is actually quite tanky with value point and dispersion.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that much HP, but you have to consider that like Chen Heal is going to be there. He has dispersion. He has stick. He has he can traverse all terrain. So there's a lot of innate defensive abilities in the Spectre. So who do they actually gank right now? You want to kill either Matuma Man or Broodmother.
You gotta kill. I mean,
or Spectre, but they can't kill either right now.
I mean, we're 10 minutes in. Matuma Man, he has the Desolator on his way out. And there's
There
200 gold away from the Blink Dagger on Mind Control. But they do have the Blink on the bat.
Yeah, they really need this to work out.
They really need to do something big with that reveal.
But if you don't gank the Spectre, you have the problem of perhaps Miracle being able to turn around with a Haunt into the fight. So you have 2 global abilities that you do need to worry about if, let's say, you gank Matuma Man. So, like, one person TP's in, you have the Chen Heal, you have the Haunt there. Suddenly, what looks like an easy 3-for-1, 4-for-1 smoke, there's suddenly all these factors that you didn't really account
Look
for.
at this as well. This is just dirty. 10 minutes, you get the Deso on the Spider. You go into the pit with the Chen. And SG, I don't think they're going to be expecting it this early on in the game. There should be a freebie here for Liquid.
Liquid is probably one of the best teams in the world at playing keep away. It's like not fighting when they don't need to fight at all. Like, they're getting so much farm around the map right now.
Oh, here we go.
In the late game.
GH should be in trouble here. He'll try and hold them back with a quick telekinesis, but the Flame Guard burns him down. And SG will get themselves on the board with regards to kills.
Sacrifice, what, Tower and Roche for that? It's rough.
Dyer's top tower.
Yeah,
At least got a kill.
They got some
Moral
action.
boost, yes.
I mean, in terms of kills, it's been a slow-paced game. It's only 3-1, 11 minutes in. Obviously, the net worth is definitely the big story. 6k gold lead at the moment for Liquid, and seems to be showing no signs of stopping.
They actually want to fight right now. You can tell by Spectre's build.
Yeah.
Spectre went for Urn. So this kind of phase in the game is a little bit awkward because you have like Broodmother farming a lot, waiting. She doesn't really need BKB yet because he has the Aegis, but you're still like much stronger, so kind of want to fight. But so what does Spectre want to do? Spectre could aid the Broodmother in fighting or be in the late game insurance, and looks like he will take the former option. Looks like he's going to build a Manta too next.
Oh, I like that. We've got the chains, confuse the bat a little bit. It's nice.
Yeah,
very hard
I
for them
don't
to jump on.
actually think you care if they jump the Spectre, though. I think if they jump the Spectre, they just lose the fight. But he didn't actually go for like a more tanky build too. We'll see what he picks up later.
It's nice as well. I mean, more with the Desolate as well. If you find those solo heroes on the back lines when you haunt them, damage output can be pretty insane for ripping them apart.
Deso doesn't really help him as much as other heroes, though. He does a lot of pure damage on the Spectre.
No, I'm talking about the Desolator's in the skill.
Oh, Desolate. Okay, I thought you meant
Come on,
Desolator.
man. No, Ben. Come on.
If you can find them.
Well, so let's see if they do anything here with this Moonlight. SG having the lead here is Leposa. Once they find that catch with the bat, but yeah, these wards, Liquid, they know that it's coming. I mean, Miracle's still chilling. They did see this one come through. The arrow combo not quite working out, but it doesn't matter. They do end up losing Miracle, but he is going to buy back and horn in. He's angry. Miracle wants to play Dota 2, and he has managed to help take down one. He'll turn towards Leposa. They will get the bat as well. And that was the come and kill me debate from Miracle, and it seems to prove to be very effective here for the side of Liquid as they've taken down 2, make that 3, double kill for Miracle. He wanted to die all along. And he'll come back in and pretty much make back the money that he had to expend. Well, not quite. A little bit of a tax there as he loses 100 net worth, but net exchange in terms of the overall goal. But it really does feel Liquid. They're starting to have a bit of fun with this, man. They're playing around.
Their spacing was just a little bit off. When they were positioned around the roast, they wanted to actually pop the smoke. Because they had the observer wall right there, they would have been able to see it immediately and then back off, or haunt and immediately kill the Bat Rider. But they were actually just a tiny bit off in their positioning.
So they can get this here. Kuro and GH may have just stepped over a little too far here. GH is on his way home and he will make it. Kuro will make it back in a casket.
What a bro.
I mean, SG. They're slowing it down. I do like this as well. You know, they're punishing these sort of, you know, maybe where Liquid's getting a little too comfortable. You saw them come over there. They have got that ward, Liquid, on the high ground in that bottom half of the Dyer's map, but didn't end up doing them too good there. Matuma Man, looking for Adriana. They do have the telekinesis, and in fact, with the stolen stun, it's going to be close. Does just manage to get himself out with the stick charges at the ready as well. Matuma's got a completed Diffusal Blade, though. Oh! Hey, that's not going to save him, though, if he's been lassoed. They've got the lasso into the stun, and with the Firefly, they will manage to pop the Aegis. Killing him a second time, that's going to be a bit of a bigger ordeal. We'll see if they attempt it. They are going to look towards him. They've got the slow from the Wyvern, not quite enough. Arrow won't make the connection. Oh, Courier. Well, hang on. Someone's starting to feed the Courier there. Will be brought back just in time. Watch out, Liquid. Let's not get too carried away.
Is that why you don't play the micro heroes? Because you just accidentally feed Courier?
I mean, that's what it is, you know. When you spawn, you look back at the fountain, you just, you know, click and drag over everything, and suddenly you're trying to get the Courier to poof and throw nets at people. It doesn't work out.
Please swap me Brood every time you random him.
We've got a GH with the blink. Oh, look at this build on the Ember Spirit. What would you think about this?
Solar Crest?
Yeah.
Solar Crest is...
I mean, it's a great item.
Yeah. It solves his armor issue. That's Ember's probably biggest weakness is not having armor. You always have to just build armor, either Veil or Armor Talent or Shiva's later in the game. But he does have a lot of magic on his team, so Veil I think would still be pretty good. But the evasion, I would say, is much more useful than maybe the amplified magic damage, because it does help a lot for Spectre. Spectre does a lot of pure, so you want evasion so he misses, or you want HP.
Yeah, I like the thought behind it. And well, helped out a little bit there. Throws it down onto Kuro, and they do manage to chop down the Chen.
It's also really good with the Winter Wyvern. You always want a Solar or a Medallion on your team.
Oh, yeah, that's true, actually. So and, yeah, I guess no one else was really going to be looking to farm it up at any sort of reasonable rate on the side of SG. So, yeah, he makes the call. And, yeah, we're still waiting to see, really, that first big Winter's Curse. Hasn't really been a chance for it. A lot of sort of scrappy fights, Liquid split up, coming in one by one rather than as a full 5-man. Farm for Miracle. Looks like so good. She just picks up the Ashen and looks for Diffusal Blade next.
This Wyvern's going to need a lot more farm, though. You mentioned he hasn't been able to get into his Winter's Curse, and I think that's going to continue to be a problem, because they're going to haunt, they're going to see him immediately, and then they're going to kill him. Or at least the Spectre is. Yeah. And he's going to be alone because he's going to haunt in, so Winter's Curse isn't going to really do anything. Oh, this could be a huge kill.
I was going to say, this is really nice. We've seen the poster do this a couple of times now, where he gets the opening onto Matuma Man. Matuma Man has been chained, gets healed up by the hands of God, but it's not enough. That's going to be Matuma Man down. Miracle jumped in with the Haunt, but now he's the one to be chained as well. Jump forward from Costa Bill, trying to get the damage through with his boosted attack speed. Remnant in from Adriano. They're actually going to take a second here. SG. They do lose the Wyvern, as expected, as you say. As soon as the Haunt comes out, the Wyvern's dead. But SG overall getting 2 cores. Big fight and big pickoffs from the Batrider. Leposa setting up some miracles here for SG.
Very greedy build from Brood, I would say.
Radiant's middle tower is
So
under
that's a very nice haunt. It actually tanks the arrow, so he would have been like just super dead way early on in the fight. But they have a nice set of chainstone on him, and Chen's all the way on the top side of the map. Pretty much wouldn't have made that big of a difference in the fight because he would have probably just helped kill his teammates with a curse. So not that big of a deal, but Liquid have to be very careful not to feed away their super high net worth heroes.
Yeah.
They also got like one free death because of the Aegis before, and if they don't get this next Aegis, I could see them potentially being in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, SG really stepping things up. The money's starting to flow in for Adriana as he works towards both the Radiance and the Boots of Travel. And Theolicor already hot on the case for more action.
Matoma needs BKB. He usually goes Mask pretty early on. The Diffusal Blade, very common pickup versus the Ember. Very common pickup in general, but especially versus the Ember to purge off his shield so you can actually kill him.
And look at this down bottom. Looks like they may have, they did have eyes on the Beastmaster. He'll back away.
22% passive gold. Nice.
That's strong, but
Well played.
it's a very skilled part of the game there. Collecting the passive.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And not losing it.
Exactly.
Not dying is hard, Owen.
Radiant's
That's one of the
bottom
hardest parts
tower
about this
is
game.
under
It
attack.
is.
So Roche is up.
Vanish.
I would say daytime is much better for them than nighttime. Like nighttime, everyone's about on even foot, but daytime, because they usually have the Bat Rider out in front, I think they can actually like haunt in or disable his blink before he can actually get a jump. But SG know that they need to make a move before the next Roche,
Yeah,
because if Liquid get the next Roche, they're going to buy enough time for Brood to get BKB, in which the fights will be a lot different than the way we've just seen.
They did try there with the Moonlight Shadow to make something happen. They scan as well, but didn't quite catch Liquid. Liquid themselves on the high ground. They've got the vision on Theolicor, who came in for a bit of a scout. A quick jump in from GH. With that telekinesis, making sure that there's no chance for Theo to react. I think Assassin is gone, and with one man down, unlikely that SG will look to force anything for at least those 20 seconds. Once they're just a 4-man, they need the full 5-man ready to tackle any sort of attempt at a fight with Liquid. And not where Adriano wanted to. Remnant, who jumps into the middle lane. Off the back of that, they're gonna lose a few more. Bodino trying to hold them back with the Winter's Curse, but Miracle simply walks around the back lines of it. And they'll lose the Wyvern. Little mistakes like that you cannot afford to pull off in front of Liquid. They will punish them very quickly and incredibly effectively.
They're playing very well around the Roche, though. Like, they're not actually taking it or playing inside the pit. They just know that SG can't allow them to take it. So what do? Just sit around the pit with better vision, more sentries, and just jump whomever comes close by. I also think the Solar Crest is much better for, like, trying to focus down heroes, but they haven't really gotten to that point yet. We haven't really seen the Wyverns affect this game at all. But
Radiant's bottom tower
yeah,
is under attack.
maybe Spectre is a pretty good pick for the Wyvern, though.
Yeah, I mean, Miracle seems to be having a lovely time. Has got down a couple, but his involvements in the fights have been absolutely top stuff. 4-2-4, 8 of the 10 kills he's been about for, and the farm continues to roll
Radiant's
as
bottom
well. You've got to
tower
remember
is
they did
under
start him
attack.
on that aggressive lane against SG's tri-lane.
Yeah, that's super unusual in by itself. Normally you only see it with a Lich, but it was like a, Rubik, Spectre, Chen tri-lane.
GH trying to go in here with the Stolen Remnant spam. Will manage to steal the Vendetta, and with the Roar, they'll turn around and take Theo. The poster does try for the jumping, gets the lasso into the arrow. Have they got the damage to bring him down? No. He's back home safe and sound. Thanks to Kuro. And now the rest of them trying to escape. But Laposa is not getting away from this spooky, scary spider. Matuma Man with the Diffusal Blade. In fact, he may not be done.
Again, look at the...
He wants to go for more potentially here. Bardino slowed as well, trapped with the spiders. Double kill for Matumama.
Well, again, look at what they're doing. It's just playing around the Roche with superior vision and just letting, you know, someone sacrifice. It was supposed to be Rubik who sacrificed, but GH kind of outplayed his way out of that. And then now SG, they're going to have to deal with Aegis Cheese on Matuma, who already does a ton of damage. He built a fairly glass cannon build with the mask and Dezo and the diffusal. No HP items or defensive at all.
And
It's
as you
really
say,
going to pay off now.
yeah, having the Aegis, and not only that, but being more than halfway. Well, yeah, more than halfway towards the BKB. That's a lot of scary items to have on a Spider. And SG, question is if they were ready to deal with it. They do have lockdown through the BKB, but again, it's really sort of the damage that's the issue. And also the constant threat of Kuro being able to send people back to safety.
They need the Radiance like really, really soon, because this Aegis could do a lot of structural damage, but he's still about 2,000-3,000 gold
See what they
away.
get away with it. Cole cost a bit, goes in, jumps out. Mind control actually cancelled his TP here. And for that, he's going to be caught out. They'll come into the trees, and they will catch him. Did pop the bots, but immediately decided to stick around in the neighborhood, and it does cost him his life. SG pick up the kill. They drop a scan just to make sure there wasn't any other members of Liquid in the neighborhood, but it was a total freebie. Liquid themselves were putting some pressure on mid, but nowhere near Mind Control's Beastmaster.
Wonder what made him cancel his TP. What possessed him to do so? I didn't actually see where he was TPing to. Why not just?
I didn't see where it was TPing to be fair, no. Oh, here we go, up top, jump in from GH, manages to get the catch onto Adriano, quick slide of change to dodge the initial stun from Kuro's creeps, and Adriano gets himself out. Core as well, starting to get out of there with the Moonlight Shadow. He will survive. Can SG re-engage on this? This would be ideal for the side if they can. They'll look towards Kuro. The arrow doesn't hit Chen, but it hits the bigger target. Gets Matumba Man. Theo with the follow-up. Have they got the damage? Well, with 5 heroes here, they sure have. They'll take him down once. Mind controls come in, and with the Haunt from Miracle, things could potentially start to get scary here for SG. They're on the retreat, trying to get out of this one. The poster's going to be the first to fall. Chains hold back the Spider, but SG, they're being slowed up incredibly by this dagger and search for a Miracle. They'll look to Remnant out, up to the safety of the high ground. Is he actually going to be that safe at all, though? Miracle's just diving, chasing them past the tier 3, picks up the double as he takes down Bardino. Will give a little bit of mercy to Adriano and Costabil as they'll get back to base. But again, as we saw, so hard for SG, even in a position there where in most games that would have been a great time to go back in. But when there's a Spectre in the game, things get a little bit different.
Yeah, the curse had to be blown very, very early on in the fight. He actually just used it on a Haunt illusion just to buy himself some more time. However, that thing's not very tanky, so the curse isn't actually going to last that long. Still, Matumba Man does need his BKB. They're not able to really get what they want to out of these fights simply because he just dies going in. Very easy to lock him down or prevent him from attacking, prevent him from life-stealing. But once he does get BKB, he's still going to have to worry about that Windsur's Curse. At least Mirana's getting there too. One for a Maelstrom, usually Sleep Diffusal, but versus this mass amount of summons, I think you want more AoE, either the Scepter build or the Maelstrom build.
Yeah, interesting. I was actually looking back at actually the way that Costa built that. I don't think he actually builds Diffusal that much. He normally sort of opts for the Manta, Maelstrom, Lincolns, Dragon Lance.
It's more old school.
Yeah. Here we go, Miracle. Would be a dream catch for SG. They are going to position around this top tier 1.
They might catch.
Oh, there's a double damage rune on this Spectre. Not something that they would really want to mess around with.
This is a really good time to take a fight too. Spectre's Haunt is down. There's no Aegis on the Broodmother. This is a really good time for them to hit. However, the BKB is up on Matumba Man. They will see that now.
Yeah, an incredible threat.
But they also notice that he doesn't have a TP scroll, so they know that they still have a decent amount of time to push. If they would like, or take a fight on this side of the map because they know their main damage source isn't actually going to be there.
We'll see how much they can do with that information. We do nearly have the Radiance on Adriano. He has the Relic, and I believe was just a few hundred gold away from the recipe. And yeah, still just a couple of hundred gold, and the Radiance will be done for the Ember Spirit. Liquid, ready to go once again down bottom. Maybe even threaten the high ground. Bardino, he heads forward. And he's quickly sent backward there. Liquid jump on him immediately, and now they're ready to try and break the base. They did pop Haunt for that, nonetheless, but it brings Miracle into a position where he's able to help with the siege onto the high ground. Jump forward from Laposa, gets the lasso, but a quick telekinesis from GH holds him in place. Matumba Man's going to be fine. The bat is not. Laposa down. SG lose 2. Now Matumba, he's ready to dive in deep. Pops the BKB, doesn't give a damn about the Spike Carapace. The arrow will hold back Miracle. The buybacks do come out from SG, but they've already lost the tier 3. This huge onslaught of animals being sent down this bottom lane, clean up the melee racks. As SG despite the buybacks, are unable to keep their base intact on the bottom.
Yeah, things just fell apart really quickly for them.
18k gold lead, 19k in fact now
Dire's
for
bottom
Team
shrine
Liquid.
is under attack.
It's looking incredibly rough for SG. They had some nice little plays this game, but overall it really has been Liquid just putting on a clinic, showing us the Liquid we've come to see before TI, at TI, and after TI.
Their tower hitters are also really terrible on the side of SG. They have to 5-man a lot because of the Desolate and the Haunt, but they're going to lose out on a lot of farm and split pushing and pushing out lanes as a result.
Oh, look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, he's really fat. He also went
absolutely is.
probably one of the greediest builds you could possibly go on Brood.
I mean, he really, yeah. Deso, Diffusal,
And then Mask.
and then
And
Mass,
then
yeah.
BKB.
And then he goes to the BKB. Now he's got level 2 Diffusal Blade as well. And they're in the neighborhood. I mean, Matumba, he can put that BKB and kill any of these pretty
No
much.
need to take that risk without Haunt, though.
Sure. Yeah, he probably, I mean, Costa Bill's looking pretty tasty. Go on. He wants to do it. He's just going to go in, opens up. There's a shrine. It doesn't matter. Oh, okay. Bardino will live. Matuma Man gave him the walk away. They're not committing for the final touch. And on that, they won't find a kill. Not a lot was committed, though, of course, by Liquid. So not really too much of an issue for them. But not finding the quick and easy kills that Matuma Man was hoping for.
Good restraint, though.
Dire's top shrine is under attack.
The vision down.
Yeah, they just need to take it easy and slow, fight with their PKBs up, fight when their ultimates are up, or just fight with the next Aegis. So this Shrine's dead, and SG are really hard-pressed to do anything right now. I guess they do have the Radiance up
Dire's
on
top shrine
the
has
Ember,
fallen.
but that's about it.
Dire's bottom
Let's see
shrine
what they can
is
do
under
with their
attack.
resources, but here's the jump in already. Immediately everything thrown onto the Wyvern. That'll be Bardino down. Laposa trying to get away. Miracle hot on the chase. Laposa trying to get up on the high ground to escape this, but does get the lasso off. Doesn't matter though.
Dire's middle
Too much damage being kicked out from the Spectre. They do turn, get the arrow connection. Hand of God comes through. It's enough to keep Miracle alive. SG just cannot find the trades. Yellowcore himself does get the stun, but he has to run. And that's all he can do. There's no hiding from this man. As Mind Control will chase him. Makes out the Spike Carapace. Mid lane though, Matumba does decide to feed away his life. He's down for 80 seconds. I mean, that is a huge kill for SG. Questionable whether it matters in the grand
Dire's
scheme of things, but
bottom shrine is under
it's a
attack.
big kill nonetheless.
Who got that?
I think it was split.
Oh, a split. That's
It was-
perfect.
That's good. A little bit
Dire's
of
bottom
money for
shrine
both of the cause,
has
but
fallen.
They just need better high ground defense. Like this Wyvern just dies immediately at the start of the fight. This is why I'm saying he just needs more items. Ideally, I would say a Glimmer Cape because Spectres just generally don't have enough item slots to carry Dust. And Glimmer Cape plus Cold Embrace, pretty nice combo
Sure.
for him.
But he has got the defusal,
Yep.
if he's quick with that. Oh, top the raw. And trying to, does he want to chase? Does he want to play? Can he? That's the question. Doesn't look like he can. Mind Control's already out. Fool me on it. Complete for the Mirana. Now top. Mind Control and GH. Still to be a bit careful as Laposa is ready to hunt.
There's so many summons though to worry about that are just keeping their eyes on him. Beastmaster Hawks, Boars, Chen Creeks, Broodlings.
But on the other half, man, that's more money on the map for SG. There are positives.
A bit. Ever the optimist.
Back to base they go. SG very much waiting for Liquid to make the move, to make the misstep. And they can punish GH.
He is ridiculously far.
600 gold away from a completed Aghanim Scepter.
And Kuro plays this way more defensive Chen too. Notice he's had like a lot of key sendbacks too. SG would probably be, what, 13, 14 kills right now if it weren't for some of the sendbacks. So he's sacrificing his net worth to boost up his others.
Here we go. The wraparounds there from Liquid. They've got a good angle. GH jumping in with the telekinesis to set up into the stolen stun. Costa Bill held in place. Winter's Curse trying to buy him time, but Miracle pops the BKB, jumps forward with the Horn. They've found the Mirana. They're looking for more once again. Bardino in trouble. Does Cold Embrace himself. It doesn't matter though. The damage still cuts him out from the Desolate. And Laposa, he is none the luckier as a third member drops once again on SG. unable to scratch Liquid's lineup at all. 21k gold lead. The slaughter just continuing.
Just way too much vision in the fights. Night Stalker is generally the counter to Bat Rider, just so he can't initiate in the fight. But this game, there's just so many more things to deal with than a simple darkness, including the Haunt and all the summons. There's just no, like I would actually say that the Bat Rider played a pretty good mid game. He got a lot of key jumps.
He did get some good jumps on Timmerman.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
But then after that, if Liquid just take a breath, relax a little bit, spread out their summons, and play properly, then it should just end up in a really swift and easy push for them.
No surprises there at all, as GG is called. Liquid will take down SG in this best of one, and pretty much in the expected fashion as well. This was the Liquid that we've come to know oh so well, giving us this just perfect performance of Dota. They know the lanes, they know the game. Kuro, the mastermind, he knows when it's safe to draft Spectre, and it certainly was Miracle. Miracle's happy, Kuro's happy. He's like, you did it, Amar. I can't believe you did it, but you did. We won with Spectre, boys. One of the times where Kuro cracks a smart. Miracle as well. What a boy. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we will cut to a short break. More Dota will be around the corner. We've got one more game for you today, but of course first, to a short ads, and then back to the panel to hear what they have to say about Liquid's dominant performance against SG.
I want to get in there.
Wow.